Hello folks, welcome to another brushed up minis tutorial. Today I am going to be following on my get on the table fast rapid painting style, and today's will be the Orc Blood Bowl team. Chunky big miniatures from the set. We did the humans previously and now we're going to move on to these fellas. Now these chaps are going to be called the Aberdongers, from a football team called Aberdeen in the country I come from. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting these on the table. So let's see how they do. Last time I wasn't very accurate in how long it took me to paint the figures, so this time I'm actually going to check the time, and it is 2:30, so we can see when we get them finished by. So here we go. Okay, so stage 1, we are going to prime these with our zenithal highlight again. This time I'm not going to use the mid-tone grey, I'm just going to do the black prime, and then I'm also going to use white on top of this. The reason being is I want these chaps, especially due to their chunkiness and whatnot, I want them to be more contrasty. So I don't want the mid-tone in them, I just want the highlight and the shadow. So let's get on with this. Here we go. And there we go. Zenithal highlighted. You can see the figures here on the left from above, just pure white, but if you turn them onto their sides, boom, we've got shading. And that's what's going to allow us to really add contrast and separation to the miniature. Just subtle tones that are enough to make it look interesting. Okay, so base coat 1, yellow wash. This is coat de arm, super wash yellow. It's not just normal wash, it's super wash. And all I'm going to do is again shoot from the top down, and then I'm going to pick out some of the highlighted areas underneath. So first things first, top down. Now this stuff's really strong, look at that, bang, instant. In fact, we could pretty much just flood the entire miniature with this stuff, because the red will paint over it and create a nice blending effect. Wow, solid, bright yellow. That's exactly what we want. Now when we paint the red onto it, it's going to blend into it, and so it'll only leave the actual highlighted areas really that yellow, and just have a nice effect. But I'll do the rest of the figures, so fast forward. And that's us. Our highlight of yellow is done. I'm just going to let them dry off for 5 minutes. Okay, there we go. They're dry. So, like I say, scarlet red for Model Air Vallejo. Very bright coloured paint. Now, this time I'm going to shoot from below the figure, so imagine just holding the figure upside down and spraying it. This should give the effect that I'm looking for, of because the red will go over this black paint a bit better than the yellow would, and hopefully it'll leave the highlights where they are. Let's have a look at it and see what happens. Okay, this first coat on. Just gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna put some more on from the exact same angle. Okay, here we go. Just to thicken up the red. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint very exactly, and I'm going to go into a lot more detail. So I just want to put a little bit more red onto the shoulder pads. See the gradient going from red to yellow. Okay, I'm going to get on with the other chaps. Okay, so that's it. The base coat is applied for the armor. This is the overall look of the figure itself. It's just a nice tonal shift going through the figure. You don't need to use an airbrush to do this. You could use spray paint. Just a can of spray paint that's yellow, a can of spray paint that's red. You get the exact same effect, not quite as accurate, but hey, if you just want the figures on the table, that's all that counts, then that'll do fine. Alternatively, you could get a big brush and just splash yellow down the figure, let it dry, or let it semi-dry, and then get this red on a big brush and just splish it from underneath the figure, you know, the exact same way I did with the airbrush, but with a brush. Splat, 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 and just leave it. The paint will blend into each other and you'll get the same effect. Next things next, we're going to block in some colours. I'm going to use two more main areas of colour, the skin and the metallic parts. Now for the skin, I'm going to be using this horrendously bright green. The reason being, I'm then going to put a green wash across it. If I was going to highlight it, I'd put a darker green and then highlight with a green like this, but I figured, because this is for speed, paint them in with this, and then we'll just wash it down and that'll create our shading for us. Okay, let's go. Yes, very watery, this stuff. Blob it on, and we'll do a second coat. Not ideal, but hey, it will look better in the end. As you can see, red underneath gives a darker finish with the skin, and the yellow on top, and that's perfect. It's shading for free. Rub that paint actually with just the shading from below showing through. I think what I'll do is I'll leave that and then I'll paint over the upper surfaces so it gives a stronger green colour, but I like the shadow under his chin. Whatnot, definitely gives a interesting look. In the end all we want is this kind of solid green colour on the upper surfaces. Any of the shadows and what have you can remain a little bit more, or a little varied from the green tone. It just adds to the overall look of the figure, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let him dry because it's quite watery. And I'm going to come back to him once I've done a coat on these fellas as well. Two and a half hours in, and we've got our skin tones on for the orcs. Now, I don't know if you can, how well you can see it, but I'm not putting the paint on that thick. I want the toning from underneath, the airbrushed stuff, to show through the skin. This just adds an extra dimension to the toning of the figure, I think, especially underneath. It's darker, it's scrubbier, so I'm not painting it too solidly with the green paint. Okay, so here we are back. I'm going to paint in the metallic parts, the spiky bits on the armour. And for that, I'm going to use this gun grey, rather model air colour. I really love these paints because they're super thin down but really high pigment level. It's quite a nice dark metallic-y colour, perfect for the orcs. His toe caps. This, it really just adds an extra dimension to the model, just having another colour on it. It's very different. I was going to use the offset colour for the reds and yellows as white, but I think this'll do just as good a job. There we go. You can see just having these metallic bits adds an extra layer to the model. Alrighty, it's washing time. I'm going to use, for their flesh, I'm going to use this Bale Tan Green, which is a Citadel shade. It's just quite a dark green shade. And because we've used a skin tone that's so bright, when we put this on it should sit quite nicely, I think. Straight from the pot, it's quite gloopy, this stuff. And just let it pool it to the areas. Nice. All the way down to the edges, I'll let that kind of a at the moment, you can see how that's raised the details out nicely there. Just a bit. Like I say, you want to pull it big in the deep recesses and around the edges of things, because that'll just create definition, that'll make the model zing a little bit more. So let's do the hand now. Just push it all the way up to the edge and it'll pull in there. You can just see the immediate effect. It's going to look cool. These washes kind of leave everything a bit shiny, but a quick coat of matte varnish will take care of that. There's armour here. Good thing about washes is they kind of sort of do themselves effectively. You just need to get it in the right area and it does all the work itself. Perfect. Over the top. Spot it on. There we go. Bringing out those facial details. Alright, time to fast forward, get the rest of them done. Right, so for this, I'm going to use Daha black here on this. Not too much with these, not like the skin. Just enough to sit in the crevices. And then also do is just put it on the edges so it lifts the armour off or lifts the plated metal parts off the armour. Let's put some black line here. That's perfect. Okay, fast forward. And there we go. All the wash is done. That'll be doing. They really add an extra level to the model. Still wet at the moment, as you can see. Some of the bits have not gone on too neatly, but that's alright. Okay, here we are back, and I'm going to do some spot details. Things I'm going to do, I'm going to do the tusks and the fingernails, and I'm going to do their eyes. But I'm going to do the fingernails first, and I'm going to do them with just what's this, bone white from the game colour. You don't need much of it, it's just in little bits, but it really set off their tusks, their teeth and things like that. If I just take a few minutes to do it, brings character out in their face quite a lot. There we go. Simple but effective. Can you see that? There we go. Get his fingernails done. Doing his nails. This spot detail really adds to a model, especially when it's painted with this sort of gradated finish. There you go, that's the nails done. Just adds character, makes them cool. Fast forward to the end. Okay, and the last of the spot detail, the eyes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same bone colour, because white might just be a bit too black paint and a very fine detail brush. Split chips and paint. Oh, okay, maybe a bit too much paint. But hey ho, it don't cost much. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take quite a healthy bit at the end of the brush and just dot it as close to the middle of the eyes as possible. Just enough. I'm just trying to build a little bit more on this eye. There. It's badass now. The sides are pointing different directions. Perfect. Let's see, actually what I'll do is I'll just take black and fill up their eye sockets just to make them a bit more threatening looking. Okay, here we go. So we have Cam Light Green, which is effectively Goblin Green if you were to go Citadel colours. But heavy with pigment. You can lump this stuff on. So, just daub the green on. It doesn't need to be too accurate. I'll be putting flock on top of it. This is just to give the flock colour underneath it so it looks nice and solid like a pitch surface. Perfect. I'll just get the rest of them done. What I'm going to do is just let that dry for 10 minutes. And I'll edge the base. What I'm going to use is the black primer for the airbrush. It's a very, very matte finish on it, which is exactly what we want. With the side of the brush held against the model and just rotate the model and move the brush in accordance with it. Easy peasy. By using the side of the brush, might a little bit, but very less likely to bleed over onto the top surface of the base. Ta-da! That's them done. Looking cool. That dries very quickly, this primer. The black's painted around the rim has dried, so now it's just a case of some basic flock, some PVA glue. Look how happy he is. He loves his PVA glue. And there we are. They're in their flock box. I will leave them drying overnight, but that's effectively the miniatures finished. I'm going to put transfers or decals on them. It'll take 10 minutes tomorrow, but I want to get all this flock dried first. I'll leave them like that. How long are we taking? I'm now sitting on, I think we started at 2:30 or something. It's now 6:30. So 4 hours. Yep, 4 hours. 4 hours to paint a Blood Bowl team. Not too bad. So 8 hours in total to paint the entire box set, which is pretty decent going. But we'll be back tomorrow when this is all dried, and we'll have a look at them. And we'll get their final matte varnish coat on, and that'll be them. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you soon. Here's our orc fellas, finished. 4 hour paint job. These guys are just dandy. This just allows us to get them on the table rapid, and I think they look pretty decent. And googly eyed. But they look not too shabby at all. But yeah, I'm real happy with these guys. They turned out lovely. They are terrific miniatures. So orky. So all that remains now is to put on the transfers, the decals. My secret weapon when using this stuff is I put a little bit of satin varnish on the surface and attach them with this. It kind of has a more adhesive quality than just the water itself. Just pick it up. There we go. And we'll take our first, say our number 9 thrower, and just place it on like that. And just slide it about. Well, there's water there, it'll slide about easily enough. I'm only going to put back numbers in these guys. They have got plates in the front for it as well, but I'm not that fussed. So there we go, put that on. What we'll do is we'll dry our brush, and then what I'll do is I'll just soak up the water with the brush, and that'll fix the decal in place. There's no water surface for it to float on top of anymore. Just force it all out. There we go. So, number 9. You can see. And the last little thing, take a little drop of satin varnish. So just some satin varnish over the top. Cover the whole surface so there's no textural change. There we go. So there's our guy. There's our thrower that we started with. He's pretty dandy, I think. He's getting ready to go out in there and smash some skulls. And I'll just carry on now and put the numbers on the rest of these guys. And then we're almost at the finish line. So that's these, they're done. Took about 4 hours, I guess, 4.5 maybe. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be doing more of these sort of rapid fire painting, like painting game sets and whatnot in rapid style. If you got any suggestions on ones you'd like to see, like games painted, then I'll happily oblige. But until then, smash the like button, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. I love doing this stuff, so please, any feedback's greatly welcome. Catch you next time.